So this is factoring two terms. We talked about having two types of equations with squares and cubes. With the squares, you have a squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b. With the cubes, you have two types. You're either adding a cubed plus b cubed, or you're subtracting. When you're adding, you have a plus b times a squared minus a times b plus b squared. When you're subtracting, it's similar. You just have a minus and the plus switch places. And these equations will be given to you on a test. So all I gotta do is learn how to use them, not memorize them. And then we had tables where you could put this in the calculator for your squares. You put in y equals x squared. You look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For the cubes, that's y equals x cubed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When you square 1, you get 1. 2 is 4, 3, 9, 4 is 16, 5, 25, 6, 36, 7, 49, and 8, 64. When you cube, 1 you get 1, 2, 8, 3, 27, 4, 64, 5, 125, 6, 2, 16, 7, 343, and 8 is 512. And so the first part is looking at if you have a square or a cube. If your exponent is a 2, these four are, you're going to have a square. So these are the squares. So you need to figure out what a is. A is the square root of 4n squared. B is the square root of 1. So if you square root 4, you get 2. If you square root n squared, you get n. And the square root of 1 is 1. The difference of squares, you add a and b, and then you subtract a and b. And so your answer is 2n plus 1, 2n minus 1. Number 2. If you look, 25 and 16 are in my squares list. A is the square root of 25, b squared. B is the square root of 16. So the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of b squared is b. Square root of 16 is 4. So my answer, I have 5b plus 4, 5b minus 4. So on number 3, find a and b. the square root of 9v squared. B is the square root of 16. A gives me 3v. B gives me 4. So my answer, 3v plus 4, 3v minus 4. And then 4, 3x minus 5, or plus 5, 3x minus 5. It doesn't matter which one you write first. Then number 5, that's going to be 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5. So those were my squares. These are my cubes. And so if you look back at the table of the cubes, 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, 216, 343, 512. Number 6, I don't have any of those numbers. And so I'm going to have to factor out a 3. 3 is a GCF. And so 192 divided by 3 is 64. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And so if you notice back in the table, 64 and 1 are in my cubes list. So I can write what A and B are. A is the cube root of 64 x squared, or x cubed. B is the cube root of 1. I cubed 4 to get 64. So A is 4x. B is just 1. My equation says if I have a minus, I subtract A and B. And this is going to be a squared minus ab plus b squared. So if I square 4x, that's 4x times 4x. That's 16x squared. Then a times b, 4x times 1, that's 4x. And then b squared is 1 squared, so it's just 1. So that is my answer. And 7 again. 24 and 3 are not in my cubes list, so I'm going to take a 3 out. And I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to switch my terms around. So 3 divided by 3 just gives me my u cubed. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So my a is the cube root of u cubed, and b is the cube root of 8. The cube root of u cubed is just u, and the cubed root of 8 is 2. So I say 3 times a plus b, a squared minus a times b plus b squared. And if you notice 7 and 8, the inside is going to be the same as my answer over here. Except for 3. So again, a is u, b is 2. This one I have x, sorry, x plus 2, x squared minus 2x plus 4. So I got lucky. And then the last two, 27 and 125 are both cubes. So I say a is the cube root of 27, a cubed. I should have used a different variable. B is 125, or the cube root of 125. Should use a different letter. That's going to be 3a, and that's 5. So it's minus, so I use the minus equation, the difference. I say 3a minus 5 times a squared is 3a times 3a. That's 9a squared. Plus, you multiply those to get 15a. Then you square b and get 25. Oh, I messed up on 7. That should be a plus. And then 10, 3, and 375, I'm going to have to GCF a 3. Just pull up my GCF. So a is the cubed root of x cubed, b is the cubed root of 125. So the cubed root of x cubed is x. The cubed root of 125 is 5. So I have 3 times x plus 5, x squared minus 5x plus 25.